A very good evening to each and every one of you tuned into your World of Champions, and welcome to a special evening on SuperSport, where we're going to take some time to celebrate all the women that have gone above and beyond, and not only taking the game of sport and taking the industry of sport to new levels, whether it be in netball, whether it's football, whether it's in any other field that you might think of, and of course, on and off the field as well. Tonight is all about them. It's an absolute pleasure to be an honorary woman for one night only. And speaking of those ladies that have taken this industry to the next level, I'm standing next to one of them. That is Thato Moeng.
Thank you so much, Lwazi, an honorary woman for just tonight. And of course, your World of Champions SuperSport tonight is celebrating women. As here in Mzansi, we celebrate Women's Month and Women's Day. And one thing that's for sure is that the women who are filled in this arena certainly do face fear and wink at it in whatever avenues they are in. Of course, like Lwazi has said, we've witnessed netball, we've witnessed the football action, and this year has been a very, very special year for women in sports here in South Africa. We had the Netball World Cup, we had the Football World Cup, and it has been absolutely fantastic. We also celebrated the cricketing women at the CSA Awards recently. Now, of course, the sporting ladies have always been stalwarts, the real true champions. Let's remind you of these wonderful women that make sport look easy.
Off they go. Semenya making a statement of intent in the first few metres. Gets up alongside Wambui. She does that now. She's normally got a devastating kick when she goes, and go she does. And Caster Semenya is going to do what most people thought she would do in the 800, and she runs away and wins it brilliantly.
Well seen. And that opened up because of Berger's run into the corner and a fabulous passing from Holtzhausen on that edge.
Argentina, the world number 3, taking on South Africa. It's a goal! South Africa have the lead! Would you believe it?
Now, the winner of the International Women's Newcomer of the Year award is Tumi Sekukune.
Well, there's so much to touch on then when we talk about women and achievement, and pretty much what has been a fantastic 2019 on the women's front in sport, and surrounded by netball royalty. An absolute pleasure to be joined by the 3 ladies to my left. Dumisani Chauke, who was, of course, an analyst on SuperSport during the Netball World Cup. Madam President is also alongside me, as well as Zanele Vimbela, and these 3 will be chatting briefly about the Netball World Cup and just what a fantastic year it's been for Netball South Africa. Madam President, I want to start with you. You were there and you had a great smile on your face when they were handing the reins over for the 2023 World Cup. But before we even get to that, just take us through what a fantastic month it has been for Netball South Africa.
It was the best month ever. I mean, the girls outdone themselves. We were not expecting that, especially playing Jamaica, which we all know that is number 2 in the world. And they've got the tallest girls in their tournament. So it was like, oh, what will our girls do? But you know, when we have faith and you believe in your players, it's easy. We believed in our players to say, we know that our players have played them, they're playing them in the league, so they will do something that is out of this world. And they were more determined than any other player. That's why I took them through. And Jamaica was just another one in the bag.
Another one in the bag. She talks about determination from a player's point of view. Ahead of that clash, ahead of the start of the World Cup as well, just take us through what the camp was like, how everyone was feeling, and just what the ambitions were for the team as well.
We went into it pretty confident in ourselves as well, and you know, we have to trust each other to actually perform better. And well, I think you know, from the quad series, it was good preparation for us to know where we stood And, you know, going into the World Cup competition, we knew it was going to be a tough one. It was going to be grueling. And, you know, having Jamaica in our pool as well was somewhat of a very big challenge to have. And, of course, in our pool matches, we didn't have it easy either. I think we've had the toughest route to the semis as well. So I think it was just really a real confidence booster for us, you know, having topped our pool table. So, and you know, going into the prelims as well in stage 2 was also just a tough one, which meant that we really needed to fight it out against Australia in the semis.
Okay, so not an easy journey for the Spa Proteas going through to the semi-finals, but from outside looking in, after they topped the Group C, if I'm not mistaken, what did you think of their chances going through?
I just figured, you know what, we went through Jamaica, anything's possible. I remember Semenya and I sitting in studio, I think Kate or Andy was with us that night, and we're like, they've just beaten Jamaica. What else are they going to do? I was ready for that Australian game. I mean, Australia only beat us by 2. That is world number 1. They've been world number 1 for quite some time. So I just looked at the girls. I had goosebumps. We couldn't even sit in that studio. Don't even ask the cameraman. Don't even ask the producers. We were screaming, jumping up and down. And for a second, we thought we were with them in Liverpool. But it was a great feeling to see how the girls went into the competition itself, knowing that they're confident and that they can face any team and take them to the cleaners.
I mean, that game, Jamaica, South Africa against Jamaica, I think the whole of South Africa was probably with you, Dumisani, in the way that we embraced that result. A lot of people perhaps took it with a bit of surprise, but from within Netball South Africa, and I think a lot of people who have followed the team over the past couple of months, this wasn't a surprise.
It was. Let's be honest. It was a surprise for them to beat Jamaica. I mean, I remember I was sitting with the minister, and he says to me, you know, soft-spoken as he is, he said, President, do you think we're going to beat Jamaica? I said, Minister, can you concentrate? And after some while, says, President, do you think our girls are going to beat Australia? I said, Minister, please, yes, we'll beat them. And so it was knowing that they're number 2 in the world and how good they are. And they were underdogs in the tournament also because they never played the quad series. And the quad series is us, it's England, it's New Zealand and Australia. So we might have known how these other ones were playing. And we didn't know most about Jamaica. But we knew that our girls wanted it more than Jamaica. And Jamaica would go into the game saying that South Africa beat us once when Fowler was not there and when the other one, who's this? Aiken was not there. So that's how they beat us. But they came there with the mind that it's South Africa. They have more players playing overseas than us. So maybe they took that advantage. And I think that's what helped our girls because they went there more hungry, wanting to change this and to kill this 1995 story. Girls, thank you for doing that. You know, thank you for killing the 1995 story because always it was about 1995, how we came back with a silver medal, and they did that. I mean, even now the format that they use, the 1995 group never played that format. And for them to go to the semi-finals, you're the best for us, girls.
Well, we saw a bit of that semi-final just now, but in terms of the emotional output from the team, losing by only 2 points to, as Dumisani has mentioned, the world number 1, getting that close, just take us through that journey.
You know, well, obviously, we expected it a tough challenge, seeing as that they have a very good competition in their domestic side. So their league prepares them week in, week out, unlike, you know, some of us that have to, you know, basically half the team only experiences that. And, you know, the rest of us have to come into the best preparation that we have, you know, coming from home. So I think, you know, with the Australian game, I think we also had a few, you know, challenges on our side. I think just concentrating on, you know, what we needed to do on court. Obviously, we've had a couple of errors and we had a dip in our middle of the game quarters, which I think I believe we still need to improve on, just to stay consistent. But other than that, it was, you know, such a good challenge coming back from, you know, 10 goals behind basically to just lose by 2. even though it was a bit late for us to catch up. But I think the way we really finished off that game was one of the most important moments of our lives, I guess, yeah.
Well, not only for the players, but as well for the rest of the nation who were watching with a bated breath as well. Tato, I understand you're alongside Simi Mdaga, who was also watching, and I would love to know how she felt after that defeat.
Well, Lwazi, I have to mingle with the ladies around in the arena here. And of course, you spoke about Simi, and she's with me here. Now, Simi, listening to your compadres on the couch talk about the World Cup, for yourself personally, having seen the Spa Proteas and the losing margins getting smaller, that must be a proud moment for anyone who's donned the jersey.
Yeah, it certainly is, Tato. I think, you know, everybody at home was backing the Spa Proteas. We thought they did an incredible job, you know, just getting out there. As a player myself, we've never come even to, I think, a single digit against the Australian side. So it really talks to the testament in terms of the investment and the effort and the commitment, you know, that the ladies have actually put in this game of netball.
Now, Simi, you speak investment, and I also do know that the Spa Proteas got a lot of investment from different companies. We're seeing netball really getting what it needs. And President Cecilia Molokwane also introduced taking netball back to the people. And when we talk about taking netball back to the people, 2023 comes to mind.
Yeah, certainly. I think, you know, it's all eyes in the World Cup that we're hosting in the next 4 years. But, I mean, absolutely phenomenal, you know, that we're able to host such a magnificent and, I think, world-class event. You know, just gives us an opportunity to showcase what South Africa is really capable of. And I think I couldn't be more prouder. And we talk about the investment. I mean, you saw how the ladies performed in this World Cup, and Telkom, Spa, you know, everybody literally jumped and coming on board saying, we're backing the Spa Proteas because they're absolutely phenomenal.
Well, speaking about absolutely phenomenal, of course, your World of Champions SuperSport also made sure to bring you all that action from Liverpool. Let's just remind you what went down in the 2019 Netball World Cup.
The creme de la creme all descended on Liverpool, England for the 2019 Netball World Cup. Ranked 5th in the world, the Proteas headed to Merseyside amidst a wave of expectation, but not even the most ardent fan would have predicted the unforgettable week in Liverpool. Norma Plummer's team got their journey up and running with easy wins over Trinidad and Tobago as well as Fiji, but when they faced off against the second-ranked Jamaica, a sterner assignment was most certainly expected. A tense battle followed as momentum swung to and fro, but in the end the Proteas claimed a 55-52 victory. In topping their group, a place in the semi-finals was now the objective. Scotland and Uganda were swatted aside, but despite going down to England, the Proteas found themselves a game away from the final. A semi-final showdown against Australia beckoned, and a game for the ages followed. Australia started well. Diamonds goal shooter Caitlin Thwaites was on song, sinking 30 goals from 30 shots in a clinical performance that was the difference between the two sides. Australia took a 31-23 lead into halftime and looked to have the match sewn up, but Plummer still had a few tricks up her sleeve. South Africa adapted to the Aussie game, outscoring the opponents 16-12 in the third quarter to cut the Diamonds' lead to 4. The Proteas would outscore Australia again in the fourth quarter, but just failed to haul in the defending world champions. The manner of their defeat was heartbreaking, and despite finishing 4th overall, it was a tournament to savour, none more so than for wing defence Carla Pretorius. The 29-year-old was named player of the tournament, the first South African to claim the award since Erin Berger in 2011, who ironically ruled with Pretorius during that tournament.
Welcome back as we continue to celebrate the women that are currently flying the South African flag high all over the sporting fraternity, on and off the field as well. We're going to chat now running, and I've got Yvette van Zyl alongside Carla alongside me. Really is a pleasure to have you with me. And again, another fantastic year it has been for South African long-distance running. We're not going to touch yet on Caster Semenya and her success, as well as the recently concluded Comrades Marathon. Let's start with you, Yvette. Soweto Marathon, and these are some of the things that we expect from you in terms of winning. Where do we stand in terms of preparation coming into 2019?
So yeah, 2019 has been off to quite a wobbly start. I ran 2 Oceans Ultra, so I didn't do quite the best I could, I believe, but I came 3rd luckily. So I just had a bad day on the day. And then, yeah, a few months after that, I had surgery in my leg that I hope to fix a problem that I had now for the last 7 years, a vascular problem. So yeah, so preparation is now again on track. So I've been started running again, and yeah, so hopefully I can run Soweto Marathon again. And yeah, with the help of Nedbank Running Club, yeah, I made it so far. So far so good. So let's cross fingers for a good Soweto Marathon comeback, hopefully.
Let's start from the beginning, the love for running, the getting into running, because I like to think I can run, but sure, after about a month or so not running, getting back into it is extremely difficult. But you guys make it look so easy. Where did it all come from?
I think we maybe look it easy, but it's really hard work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it came from actually my godmother, that's my aunt. She's actually in the audience tonight. So yeah, Frances van Black, she actually made me fall in love with running just because I wanted medals. So I didn't want her medals anymore, and that's why I started running, to get my own medals. Yeah.
Well, it helps that she's a former Comrades Marathon winner, isn't it?
Yes, so I don't have her medals yet, but yeah, I still need to fill in big shoes, but I'm on track, so hopefully.
And for you, Carla, the journey, where did it start?
I've always done sport, like my whole life. I think my dad was probably the biggest inspiration to me, telling me that I wasn't a proper runner until I've done Comrades. So that's pretty much, since I was little, always been a little goal that I've had.
Yeah.
Been working towards, and I've now done it 4 times. So he now thinks I'm a proper runner, so that's fine.
Now, it wasn't terribly long time ago that we had a number of, in fact, the 2 Russian sisters who were dominating when it came to Comrades Marathon. 2019, we saw Gerda Steyn doing what she does best and absolutely blowing the field away. Did you see her at all during the route?
I saw her at the start line. And then I saw her about 5 hours later at the hotel. Yeah. But no, what she did was incredible. And I think when another girl breaks those barriers and sets a record, it kind of, for the rest of us, makes it seem possible. Yeah. And no, you know, then for everyone else, a record's broken and we all up our game. Yeah. So it's amazing when one person does it, it opens the gates for everyone else to achieve better things.
And you speak about achieving better things. We have been in love with Caster Semenya for a couple of years now, nearly a decade if I'm not mistaken, and just the way she keeps taking her standard of performance to the next level against all odds pretty much.
Yes, I think Caster has pretty much shown she is the best, and it's coming from 2009 that she won her first World Champs, and she was still so young. And yeah, it's just amazing how she has developed into the woman she is today, and battling the battles she has to battle. It's amazing how she never falls down and just stands up and fights a fight.
Before we go to break, I just want to, from you ladies, what can we learn from that? What can we learn from people like Caster Semenya? What can we learn from people like Gerda Steyn as well?
I think with both of them, they enjoy sport, they love sport, and to me, that's the foundation of why they do it. They have, Caster has this massive negativity that follows her around, but still portrays this positive fight and keeps on running and keeps on pushing herself and keeps on breaking records. So, if someone does try and take you down, you've got to push that to the back of your mind and keep on going. And if it makes you happy, that's all that should matter.
Yeah, from your side of it?
Yeah, definitely the positives that Caster takes out of every negative, I think that we must strive for. And just, she's the example that we should strive for, because, I mean, if so many hardships happen to you, she always gets up and fights back. So I think definitely that's...
She certainly does, and that's why we love her so much as South Africans and, of course, the world of sport as well. Tato?
Do you know that as we celebrate women, we do know that there's something that's very canny about women. We can put on a mascara whilst we're driving. For Paris Edwards, she runs, she cycles, and she swims. A triathlete who's been a stellar comparison when it comes to women in sport. Now, Paris, when it comes to your career as a triathlete, I do know that now you're cycling and you basically cut out 2 disciplines.
Yes, it got a bit hard to do all 3 whilst returning to full-time work as a sports physio. So I picked my favourite one, and that was cycling.
And I know something that's also been quite talked about in the media is equal payment for women in sports. And when we take a look at triathletes, it seems that that is the one region where we have everyone on par.
Absolutely. Triathlon's actually a really young sport, and because of that, there's equal prize money between the men and the women, and I don't know another sport like that, and I think it's fantastic.
Well, it's 2019 and they're doing it already. And speaking about young, Dumisi Kokune was the International Young Newcomer of the Year award at the Cricket South Africa Awards recently. Dumi, only 20 years old, and you've already been recognized. How did it feel to be recognized among the best in the cricketing world?
I was very emotional. I'm a very emotional person, so yeah. And it was a dream come true. I think all my hard work has actually paid off, and I'm actually glad that I was actually recognized internationally.
And when you talk about being recognized internationally, how special is it for you to be part of the national team, flying the South African flag high, and now we know you as one of our heroes as well?
I think what a lot of people don't know is that when you're wearing this badge, it actually means a lot, and actually you know that you're representing your country, and I know it's a huge privilege and an honor to be part of the Cricket South Africa team.
Well, Dumi, congratulations for the award that you got recently. Dumi mentioned donning the green and gold, and we have to mention one lady who is South Africa's golden girl. It is Caster Semenya. Let's take a look at her career and how she's represented Mzansi.
10 years ago, a teenager named Mokhadi Caster Semenya announced herself to the world. With a distinct style of running and now iconic celebration, the then teenager from Limpopo stormed to victory at the World Championships in Berlin. The win was tremendous, but it was a sign of things to come. While controversy and allegations followed the young superstar, haters were left to hate. 2 years later in Daegu, South Korea, she was up against it, with Russian Maria Savinova taking her crown. Years later, though, Savinova was found guilty of a doping charge and Semenya was handed the gold. With a point to prove, Semenya headed to London for the 2012 Olympics, needing little motivation. As the nation's flag bearer in the English capital, Savinova again spoiled her party. But again, it came using banned substances, and Semenya was handed the gold medal. Amidst IAAF rulings and off-field distractions, Semenya continued to shine. In 2016, she became the first person to win all three of the 400, 800 and 1,500 meter titles at the South African National Championships. So she again headed to the Olympic Games, this time in Rio de Janeiro in fine fettle. There was no denying our superstar this time out, as she was head and shoulders above the rest. It was a victory savoured more than most. London called for the World Championships in 2017, and Semenya tried her hand at the 1,500 meters as well. Her new event brought similar success as she settled for the bronze medal. But there was to be no denying the superstar in her preferred 800 meters. Success in London 2017 saw Semenya become a three-time world champion. Few would have imagined the impact this woman from South Africa's Limpopo province would have had on the world of sport. Champion athlete, a fighter for the cause, Caster Semenya, South African queen.
Welcome back to your World of Champions. If you have just walked in at home, you are alongside us as we continue to celebrate women in South African sport on and off the field who are making waves around the globe as well. And now we're going to be chatting football, and it's been another great year, 2019, for Banyana. Banyana, who of course qualified for the FIFA Women's World Cup for the very first time. And I'll be chatting to Karabo as well as Sulele, who were at the World Cup in France. They are alongside me next to, do you believe another Banyana player soon to be? No?
Captain.
Captain, yes.
For the
Captain Julia Stewart of Banyana. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies. And before we even chat about the competition as a whole, Julia, I'm going to start with you. What a fantastic month of football it was.
It was incredible, Luazi. Just honored to be here alongside two ladies who are going to be sharing the experience and the honor of playing for Banyana. I think in the studio, there was really a hype. There was such an excitement. We knew we had a big job to do. The first time ever that South Africa were going to be participating in the FIFA Women's World Cup. And I remember my intro on that Saturday saying, for the first time ever, Nkosi Sikeleli Africa is going to be sung at the FIFA Women's World Cup. And I had goosebumps. And I was in studio with Simpiwe Dludlu and Amanda Dlamini, two absolute legends in their own right. And we also had Umu Bakare, who is a FIFA qualified medical instructor from Nigeria. She was joining us as well. And I think we had a wonderful panel. We had Stanton Fredericks for the first night in his pink tie.
Yes.
And it was such a wonderful occasion to be part of. And there was a lot of nerves, of course, when Banyana were playing that first game. And of course, I wish you were in studio. I wish they had recorded the reactions in studio when that goal went in from Tembi, because it was just pandemonium. So such a massive occasion, and just I think the way SuperSport presented the Women's World Cup and the way we also gave our best as the crew and the talent as well. It was just such an honor to be part of it.
It was only right that SuperSport does that, because it was such a fantastic month, really, over in France. Again, from what we saw, but from a player's perspective, take us through the journey, going to France, getting to Paris, the pre-tournament games that you guys played, and everything that sort of culminated in the Banyana performance.
I would like to say it was hard getting a ticket to go to France, because I'm still young. I'm just 17 and she's 18. And last year we went to Under-17s World Cup. Then the following year with the senior teams. And we had to choose between school and the World Cup. And we chose not to write and go to the World Cup.
Easy decision, very easy decision.
It wasn't easy, but it was hard. Yeah, it was hard actually, but we had to choose one.
I mean, there wasn't a long time between the Under-19 World Cup, or the Under-17 World Cup rather, and this World Cup. But did you guys expect, were you guys dreaming of going to the Women's World Cup after the conclusion of the previous one?
No.
Yes. I actually had a dream that I want to be part of Banyana, and actually want to be part of the team that will be qualifying for the first time, going to the World Cup. So yeah, I think it was amazing.
I actually have a question for the ladies. South Africa was tremendously proud of you, and we saw it all over on social media, especially. There was a lot of noise. Did you feel that love and that pride over there?
Yes, because we also had fans there. Even the people from other countries, they were supporting us, which was nice. We had all the support we could have asked for.
And that is amazing. It really is amazing. And as we're seeing Tembi score a historic goal when it comes to South Africa, Julia, the rest of the country went absolutely crazy when this happened. I know, thanks to social media as well, that in studio, a number of people also went crazy.
Why is it that South Africa love to score crackers for their World Cup opening goals? Hey, we all remember Shaba, and now Tembi as well. What was it like seeing that goal there, and how did you guys celebrate? I mean,
knowing that we were versing Spain, which is ranked 12, I think, 12 or 13. They were actually a good team. Us scoring, and like Tembi scoring that goal, we went crazy because it was our first match in the first World Cup that we were playing, and it was the first goal that we scored. Then we were crazy. We were celebrating.
And like I think the whole nation went crazy.
And Yazin, I agree with you with that. So first Banyana World Cup, and certainly we all hope that not the last. Tato, who are you with?
Well, as the ladies go down memory lane on the red couch, I'm with Mumu Bakara, who was here during the FIFA Women's World Cup. And you were also reminiscing about what a great tournament it was. And Tembi Katlana, what are your most memorable moments of that stellar World Cup?
Well, first of all, I think that the World Cup itself was a fantastic tournament. I was lucky to be with Julia, Amanda, and Simpiwe. It was fantastic in the studios. We had mixed emotions, roller coaster every time Africa was playing, so from Banyana to Nigeria to Cameroon. And I think it was a good outing for the African teams, even though we didn't go past the round of 16. But the World Cup surpassed every record you can think of. I can't even wait for the next one already. So having women taking charge of officiating and doing so many things, being in charge of running things at the World Cup was one of the most impressive things. France put up a good show as hosts. Unfortunately, we're not going to see France in the Olympics, which is kind of strange. But I think that as Banyana has opened their, their scorecard in the World Cup, we're looking forward to seeing them in the next one, and hopefully Africa can do better.
And you know what was also quite cool is that this time around, it wasn't just the male version of the FIFA World Cup that got so much broadcasting. As SuperSport, we made sure to give them all the time, and we saw all those games, and everyone at home enjoyed it.
Definitely. I think one of the things that I had issues with originally was when AFCON was beginning to overlap with the Women's World Cup. I feel that the women needed their own time, but somehow people were still watching the Women's World Cup, even when AFCON was on. So that was something really, really interesting to see, because a lot of people enjoyed the tournament. They were following the games till the very last, till the final, where USA undisputed champions, because I didn't see any team that was really going to stop that USA side. But it was interesting to see that the Female World Cup could still hold its own despite the AFCON tournament starting. And hopefully next time we won't have that overlap, because we are now struggling to keep up with the different tournaments. But it was quite interesting to see.
You know what's also so cool is that it was off-season when it comes to football, but we were not starved of football. Now, earlier this year, as SuperSport, we had a 90% female-driven production, and Thobela is part of our production team. She is the events manager. Thobela, when it comes to being an events manager here at SuperSport, working in this industry, can you elaborate to us exactly what it is and what it entails to be in your job criteria?
So what I basically do is, from the minute we are told that this is the game that we are producing, I have to start planning how many cameras will the director require, who is going to work, where are they going to stay. And besides that, coming into an industry where there's 99% of males, it becomes a bit of a challenge finding people who have been in the industry, but you get there and you have to say to them, okay, look, this is what we are doing. I am Thobela, I'm in charge, I'm running this production. It's a bit of a challenge, but we are here for that.
But also, Thobela, when we take a look at SuperSport, the World of Champions, we've got a lot of women who are in charge, and we also have so many opportunities in different departments where you can actually work.
Correct. Before I came to work for SuperSport about 9 years ago, I had no idea that there were so many opportunities for women. You can be an events facilitator, which is what I do. You can be a vision controller. You can be a vision mixer. You can be an EVS operator, you can be a cameraman, and so on and so forth. I mean, a camera lady in this case, yes. There are so many opportunities. People need to get out there and find out what it is that they can do in this industry, because it's a dynamic environment and it's exciting.
Well, talking about exciting, we've been going down memory lane when it comes to Banyana's first ever appearance at a FIFA Women's World Cup. Let's remind you about that beautiful journey in Paris.
Siaya France. 21 years after Bafana booked their place amongst the best in the world, Banyana's class of 2019 laid siege on the most hallowed trophy in world football. A runners-up finish at the CAF Africa Women's Championship secured their spot at the World Cup, and after months of preparations, Desiree Ellis and her girls began the trip of a lifetime. Their first game was a clash against European Spain, and star player Thembi Kgatlana netted a landmark goal for Banyana. The Europeans, however, responded well. As led by the irrepressible Jenny Hermoso, Spain ran out 3-1 winners. A narrow 1-0 loss to China followed before they bowed out of the competition with a 4-0 loss to Germany. The may have left France without a point or a win, but Banyana certainly left an impression on the grandest stage of them all. With the squad yet to reach their peak, the future is certainly bright for Banyana.
Well, once again, as we did mention earlier, hopefully not the last time we're going to be seeing Banyana at the Women's World Cup. We'll certainly have to wait and see what they have in store for us. From what we've seen already, though, is that they've picked up exactly where they've left off in the COSAFA Women's Championship. Now, I'm going to be having a chat with Umphathi Wohlelo, whom that's exactly what we call him here at SuperSport when it comes to football, and that is Sfiso Mbambo, the executive producer for football, alongside Kate Nogwe, who here is one of, well, you go as one of the new girls in town.
Yeah.
Welcome to SuperSport.
Thank you so much.
It's only been, what, a month, if I'm not mistaken?
It's been a month. It's been a month, Lwazi. And what's great about it is being the little sister to so many people in the industry with so many experience. So I know that I can go to Julia, I know I can go to Carol, Motsirisi for experience, and of course yourself. So many people in this industry who've shown little girls around the country that anything is possible.
And it's great that you touch on that because, Sfiso, you come into this picture as from a mentorship perspective. And we've seen so many platforms rather being given to young women in this industry to come and do exactly what they love and find themselves as well within the industry. You've been a big part of that.
Huge responsibility, if I may say, because for the longest time we've always wanted or would have loved for women to earn the respect they deserve. Not because they're being done a favor. I think most of us, I speak to a lot of guys in the industry, and when we see women, we say, we know they can do it, right? Some of us, we always say we were raised by strong mothers. So what we would like to do, we would like to make sure that the sisters that are next to us are as strong as the mothers that we think we were raised by. So giving an opportunity to the deserving women who have earned the right to be where they are, gives me greatest pleasure, because when people talk about whatever they say, no, maybe it's because she's a pretty face, but you know the hard work. You know, when I was giving this mandate, boss lady behind productions, she said to me, you have to talk about the men that have given women the hand and made sure that they get the right instruction. I think that's where I come in. So it prizes me today to see, as I'm sitting here, to see most females here who are earning the right to be celebrated, you know, not because they're being done a favor. I think this company has done that a lot, and even though it's not shown on every day, but people out there must know that women deserve this opportunity to be celebrated.
And just take us through some of the challenges. I can imagine you face multiple challenges when it comes to doing exactly that.
Challenges. My phone every day rings because every young girl that believes TV is a glamorous job, it looks good on TV, I'm sure, you know? But the hard work that has to go behind it, and it's amazing. And for us, we have a task. I talk about fire in the belly. You know, I've seen a lot of women, you know, they've got the fire. You know what happens with fire when it's not directed? It destroys. So my job is to make sure that the fire then that they have in the belly is directed in something that will make them look good, not destroy what they have. Emotional beings that they are, you know? So you have to try and instill, you have to have the wisdom to see how best to get the fire to be directed to where it belongs. I think that's what it is.
That is fantastically put from Sfiso, and I do imagine you can certainly share in those sentiments as well, because the fire in your belly developed really from rugby, but you are now a presenter on multiple platforms.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, like, you know, when someone asks where does the love of rugby start, and the minute you say from the Eastern Cape, it sort of like clicks for most people, because for us, it's rugby, boxing, cricket, and other sports. You know, you come to Joburg, you discover, oh, there's football. But in the Eastern Cape, obviously rugby being the predominant sport. So it's a sport that a lot of black people do love and enjoy, and therefore we always say that those who can't, who don't play, they're right. And so that's where the love for most of us began in the Eastern Cape, because at the time there was, of course, for me, not like an opportunity for a female maybe to play rugby. I mean, there's Mandisa Williams, of course, ladies were celebrated quite widely in the Eastern Cape, but like not a lot of opportunities as there are now. So it's great to know that there's still that platform in rugby for women to know that whatever avenue you want to explore in rugby, there's definitely opportunities. And being part of SuperSport has also just shown that there's so many areas. You don't have to be a presenter. You don't have to be, you know, on the field or play the sport. You can be a director. You can be a producer. And there's so many avenues. So many young girls out there who know now it's possible, because they don't just see the women on the screen, you know, the presenters that they see. They know that they are camera women, they are directors who love the sport. And so that's definitely the fire that, you know, that's also speaks about. That is, if it's directed in channeled in the right way, it definitely can blossom.
Well, SuperSport has certainly been championing that exact fact, and not only in the football field or the rugby field, but also the hockey field. And Tato is alongside someone who's been a big part of that as well.
Well, when you talk about being part of the hockey world, Fizo actually recently injured himself, but it wasn't during the CTM Premier Hockey League. He was just faffing around. But then when we take a look at the women in the hockey field, we've really had it great. You call him R?
I call him?
Rob van Ginkel?
RVG.
Oh, yeah, no, he knows him so well. And then you take a look at the road to Tokyo 2020. The team is also put together for the upcoming IPT, a really great work and well-oiled system that Rob van Ginkel has put together.
Yeah, 100%. Rob van Ginkel's worked a lot with the ladies team. He was assistant coach when they won the Africa Cup 2 years ago. So it's a natural progression for him to then become the national women's coach. Just a bit disappointing for them out in Valencia that they didn't get the top 3 finish that they would have wanted. But now they can rectify that at the Road to Tokyo event. That's going to be happening down in Stellenbosch a little bit later this month. So yeah, we're going to be fully behind the team. Obviously, the winner of that tournament then potentially qualifies for the Olympic Games. And yeah, it's just going to be really good to see how they go about their business. And plenty of experience, plenty of quality, plenty of exciting young players. And definitely looking forward to it.
And then, of course, Fizo, we take a look at the recent announcement that Saha has made, Lenise coming in as the coach for the under-21s, a natural progression from under-18s to under-21s, and hopefully at some point in time taking over the national women's team.
100%. Lenise Marais has played for South Africa. Yeah. She's been a true servant of the game, coached at PHL. You've mentioned that. And yeah, definitely that natural progression that you do expect. And a very good hockey mind, a great hockey brain, very passionate about the sport, and looking forward to seeing her rise in the sport.
Well, then, of course, we do know that your World of Champions has been making sure it brings you an array of sporting codes, always making sure you're in the know. Now, Mandy, so when it comes to you, we've seen women in the sporting arena grow and grow in leaps and bounds, and you've always been one of the first breaking ground and making sure you're number one.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Thank you very much for the opportunity to SuperSport as well. A village girl, I never thought I'd be sitting here today doing commentary for SuperSport. So it's really good. It really revives my spirit. I'm at peace with myself. So I'm willing to learn with every moment.
Well, you can catch, of course, on your World of Champions, Mandisa Williams, breaking boundaries. Your World of Champions returns after this as we continue to celebrate women.
Welcome back to SuperSport. We still have so many women to have a chat to, so many women to celebrate as well in their field and their achievements. And alongside me, to my left, I've got 2 women who have been involved in SuperSport for a very long time now and continue to take things to the next level. Deshni Naidu, who is the SuperSport head of production and operations, as well as a familiar face if you're a rugby fan, and that is Motsidisi Mohono. Ladies, thank you very much for joining me. And again, we're going to continue with this chat about the journey, where it all started and how it is that it got to be where you are now. Deshni, I believe you've been here for a long time now, so I imagine that your story is quite comprehensive.
Absolutely, it's been an amazing journey for me. And so many years later, I'm still here and I'm very present. So I'm so happy to be part of this phenomenal woman success. Yeah, my journey started some 23 years ago in this industry. And I had a love and a passion for television, and I was always exposed to it as a little girl. So, you know, I knew that this was what I wanted to be, and I had that continuous drive to succeed. I knew I wanted to work here. There was no other place. And it happened for me. And when I arrived here, I was all but about 20 years old after I completed my studies. And you know, I too went through those challenges where everybody would look at this back then, a little girl, and what was she supposed to be doing here? You know, or whose kid is she? Or is she on KTV? That kind of a thing. But, you know, I persevered and I made a space for myself. And I had the opportunity to work behind the scenes, making all of this possible today on screen. So I've had a phenomenal career here, and I'm very blessed to be at SuperSport.
And within that, what would you say has been the most integral part of that drive, that personal drive that has brought you to this position?
You know, I don't think that many women today understand the struggle that women had back then. You know, they had a lack of basic conditions. And to be sitting here now, I'm very grateful to those women that made it possible and fought for the struggle for us to be here, because I'm able to compete on an equal platform in a man's world. You know, if I look at what we've done over the past couple of years and how we've changed things, I mean, we're sitting here with a fantastic, beautiful presenter. SuperSport has identified that talent and given us a platform to showcase our talent. Some of the people behind the scenes here today are phenomenal women. We have the first ever female camera woman on Outside Broadcast. She's in the studio today, working behind one of the cameras, Sophie. In the control room is all the, you know, the unsung heroines of this business. From the engineers to the audio mixers to the vision people, and not forgetting, Safiso mentioned the boss lady behind the scenes today, Nono. She's also one of those phenomenal stories. So I think, you know, having the passion definitely drives you, but knowing within that you have the ability to succeed and have that equal platform to compete on, it makes you want to go further.
Well, we certainly hope that the young ladies who are watching at home are listening and getting inspired, especially by Motsidisi Mohono. And your story, again, has been well documented, but we have to hear it once again to where you are right now. A couple of years ago, Lady Raga.
Lady Raga, that's where it all started. Would you believe coming third was probably the biggest blessing of my life. Coming third in that competition. And it gave me that extra push, that extra drive, because I wasn't sure that I had really made my mark to everybody that was here and everyone that was working behind the scenes. Then I got a call from a lady, Erin Ferreira, to say, hey, come through, host our SuperSport Superfan. It was the first time we had social media on SuperSport for a major tournament. And that's the show that I started with, hosting Superfan. And then it rolled on to SuperSport Blitz, working there, because that's all what I had done on radio, being a sports journalist. Now I just get to put pictures to the story. And from there, joining Varsity Cup, the Varsity Sports production team as well, covering netball, working with incredible women. Deshni has mentioned the likes of Nono Tele, but Ongeziwe Zondani, so many women behind the scenes. You know, we have Zoe, we have Bessie, that make sure that we can do the work that we love. So from there, it's just progressed, but I always knew that rugby would be the niche in the end. You know, I wanted to be in a space where I can make a difference. I can represent someone. I can be the person that you haven't yet seen. And from Laureus World Sports Awards, British and Irish Lions, tour to New Zealand, hosting that as well for the channel. That was such an honor. Currie Cup semis, Currie Cup final 2017. Did my first test match. Unfortunately, the Springboks lost to Italy that day. And the guys were laughing like, no, it's because Mots is here. But, you know, they were really happy to see how things are changing and evolving as well. And we just look at the game that's on at the moment, you know, these kinds of moments where you are in studio and you just want to bring all of this action, you just want to capture it for whoever's watching at home. And I don't think 8 years ago I would have done it quite as well as I do it now. And every time that I sit in that chair, I feel so blessed to do what I love.
And I mean, it is Rugby World Cup here as well, and a lot of fans are waiting and anticipating what is going to be a great spectacle. But from a production point of view, both behind the scenes and, of course, in front of the camera, the anticipation is a bit different, isn't it?
Oh, different, very different. I'm actually just counting down the weeks where, you know, the preparation, where you just have paper all over the place, making sure that you know your stuff so that you can bring all of that knowledge and also entertain everybody that is watching as well. We at your World of Champions are excited, we're ready, we're working behind the scenes to make sure that we are informative, we're educational, and that we bring, you know, we want to entice the non-rugby people to also come on board, you know, support the Springboks. They've launched their campaign Stronger Together, and we really are stronger together. So join us, tune in, watch. You'll love it. You'll love it. And here on your World of Champions, whatever, everything just top class.
That is not a lie from Motsidisi Mohono, and she's talking about the non-rugby people to come and join the Springboks as well as they look to go to Japan and perform. Tato, I know very well that you're going to be watching that World Cup as well.
Of course I'm going to be watching that World Cup, especially because your World of Champions brings it to you in the splendor of high definition. And we're not only talking about rugby, we're also talking about the football action, Super Diski. And we have to chat to the First Lady of Sport, Simply Carol. Now, Carol, we've already had the football season, the ABSA Premiership kick off this weekend, another big one. Will we even get a moment to breathe with so much footballing action on your World of Champions?
We can't breathe at all. It was just like a couple of weeks ago when it was off season. Then we had the Africa Cup of Nations. We had the FIFA Women's World Cup. Now we've got the ABSA Premiership that's underway. Multi-choice Diski Challenge starting as well. We've got the Premier League. Then next week, we've got next weekend, we've got La Liga. So there's no stopping when it comes to the beautiful game. No stopping, and we love it.
There's no stopping. But then, Carol, when we take a look at your career, you definitely are one of the front runners, the ones who started it when it comes to female broadcasting. And today there's this full arena with so many women who are actually doing something that you started and you were a nuance.
It's unbelievable, you know, to have been able to sit back and watch this progression, to have been a trailblazer 20 years ago. Can you believe it? 20 years ago. When I walked, you know, into that studio, looked around, and it was men everywhere. Now I'm able to look around, and there are familiar faces, you know, the fairest sex. And not only are we out there, as Fiso said earlier on, we're deserving of where we are today. And that's what I love. I love that you're having very strong, very knowledgeable women that are holding their own, and they deserve it.
The First Lady of Sport, that is Simply Carol. Now, she mentioned 20 years ago, when it comes to Holly Ray, she also broke boundaries. 20 years ago, that is what she broke. Record of the year. And it happens to you be one of your icons, Brenda Fassie.
Yes, yeah, I've always been such a big fan of Brenda Fassie. She's always been one of my musical icons. So to be the first woman in 20 years to follow in her footsteps, winning Record of the Year, was incredible.
Absolutely incredible. But then, Holly, when you take a look at so many women here, it's great to see so many women who love sport. And you were telling me about your love for Kaizer Chiefs or Orlando Pirates, was it?
Orlando Pirates, and yeah, I made a lot of money. When Orlando Pirates played Kaizer Chiefs. So, yeah.
Well, she's talking about the Buccaneers, but another woman who's been quite strong in this footballing world is PSL acting CEO, also chairlady and owner of Golden Arrows, is Mama Matomadlala. Let's get a message from her about being a woman in the footballing arena.
It has been a men's sport, but we've made it fashionable as women. We've made it tick. We've made it to be more efficient because we are always there. When we are committed, as you know, we multitask. There is absolutely nothing that we cannot do. So the journey has been a pleasure. I think with anything that you do, not only in sport, but more so, I suppose, in sport, is honesty, integrity, and knowing what you believe in. You cannot be sold or you sell your soul. It's never worth it. As my chairman would say, the most important thing in your balance sheet is your integrity. And I think with sport, that is key, that people know that they can bank on you, that people know that when you give your word is bankable, and that has taken me far. Some contracts I don't even have to sign because people know when I give my word, I will stand by that, and I think that is very important. I've always said to the ladies, the ones at schools, the ones who are working, that there is absolutely nothing that they cannot do. The fact that they are women does not mean that there's anything that they cannot do. Whatever that they want to do, they can do. And we can see all around us that leadership, you know, world, look at Germany, you look at different countries, they are presidents. There is absolutely nothing that women cannot do. So I'm saying to the young girls who will be listening to me, who are listening to me, that dream big, dream hard, and you aim for the skies, you will get there.
That is Mama Mato, of course, right there at the Premier Soccer League. And of course, we want to say thank you to our honorary woman of the day, Lwazi. It has been a great evening.
It really has. It really has. And I think I did say I'd be honorary for just one day. I think I might just keep this. It feels good. It feels good. It feels good.
We'll let him keep it for a month. Thank you so much for joining us here at SuperSport as we celebrate the women in sport. Continue celebrating with us. It is #SS Women's Month. Let us know what you think about the sporting heroes in Bogoto that you've seen here this evening as you continue to support them.
From myself, Lwazi Zikobu.
And myself, Tata Moyeng.
It's a very good evening. Here's Holly Ray with Deeper.
I think it's time to let you know.